Heavy fighting is still raging on in Sudan. The warring generals are trading blame despite their agreement to extend a truce aimed at stemming nearly 2 weeks of warfare. Black clouds rose over the capital Khartoum in fresh fighting, and the United Nations reported bitter urban battles in the war-ravaged Darfur region. Over 500 people have been killed so far, with more than 4,000 wounded in the fighting. Violence first broke out on April 15th. It is a fight between Sudan's army led by General al-Burhan and the Rapid Support Forces commanded by his former deputy and fellow coup leader, Dagalo. The rival generals agreed Thursday to extend a repeatedly broken ceasefire for 3 more days after mediation led by US, Saudi Arabia, African Union and the United Nations. But there have been reports of airstrikes and the use of anti-aircraft guns near the army command in Khartoum. Residents have been sheltering at home with dangerously low levels of food. In an interview with BBC, Dagalo denounced the army chief. He said al-Burhan is not trustworthy and is a traitor. On the other hand, in an interview with the US-based channel Al Hura, Burhan claimed mercenaries were pouring in from Chad, Central African Republic and Niger to exploit the chaos. The Sudanese Doctors Union warned Friday that the collapse of the healthcare system was imminent. The United Nations Humanitarian Agency said just 16% of health facilities in Khartoum are still operating normally, leaving millions without access to health care. Fighting has also spread across Sudan, especially in long-troubled Darfur, where witnesses reported intense conflict and looting. The Darfur Bar Association, a civil society group, said fighters were launching rockets at houses in the West Darfur state capital. It also reported firing from rifles, machine guns and anti-aircraft weapons. Remember, Darfur is still reeling from the devastating war that ravaged in the 2000s. Back then, hardline President Omar al-Bashir crushed ethnic minority rebels by creating the Janjaweed militia to carry out atrocities. The force later formed the basis of Dagalo's Rapid Support Forces. Amid the chaos, several prisoners escaped jail, including war crime suspects from Bashir's regime. Foreign governments are scrambling to wrap up evacuations of their citizens. Turkey's defense ministry reported that one of its military transport aircraft had come under fire. The US, whose diplomats have been mediating by telephone between the warring generals, acknowledged violations of the truce. Britain announced it would end evacuation flights from Sudan on Saturday after airlifting more than 1,500 people out of Sudan this week. The World Food Programme has said the violence could plunge millions more into hunger. In Sudan, 1/3 of the population already needs aid to starve off famine. As per the United Nations International Organization for Migration, over 75,000 have fled their homes. Tens of thousands have crossed into neighboring countries including Chad, Egypt and South Sudan. South Sudan's foreign ministry warned Friday that the conflict spillover effects are already visible. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.